It is time for yet another of my 60-minute engagement live on social media. I want to welcome those of you who are joining me live for this experience and for those who will view the broadcast after. I welcome you as well. I ask that you share the content if you desire. You participate by posing questions, interacting if you so wish, or just simply taking the content. If at least one person views this, that's fine for me. But the many who can benefit from the exchanges, I think that would be nice. I am not in the business of waiting for there to be a great following to begin, because I believe you put out a message and the message will garner following. And there are some as well who judge messages based on the number of people they think listen or view. And I say that's not the way. The message, no matter how you get it out, as long as the message is good and is intended for audiences, the message will get to the audience. There are times when I think messengers get a bit bogged down about the seemingly scanty following, and even people judge you as well based on what they think might not be excessive following. But the good book says, blessed is the road which leads to righteousness is narrower than that which leads to destruction. So if you are the only member on with me today, welcome. I know you're not the only one, but I treat you as one. Today we're going to look at what we can do as a people, possibly to use government maladministration as an impetus to unite our nation, which is what we should all be, what we should be aiming at. I cannot say all, because not everyone would support or agree that there is maladministration taking place in the government of Dominica. I happen to believe that there is. Not entirely, totally, completely, but there are some things that government has done over the past decade or two in Dominica, which had not been done in the interest of Dominicans in general, but in the interest of the party and the people who support them. So my view on this program is to look and see what we can do using government maladministration as the impetus, the force, the reason for us to unite, not joining parties and groups and people, but at least embracing a united purpose, a progressive agenda to help save our nature isle. I am saying so quite sparingly, because people may say, save Dominica from what? Or from whom? And my simple answer is to save Dominica from the ruins which could befall her if we do not change gears and take another course. Because the best of nations, the most productive of nations, the most prosperous of nations, the wealthiest of nations can suffer when those nations are not managed well. And there are theories and even ideologies which explain that to us theoretically, but I won't go down that route. I would just say that practically, if you do not do things right, eventually things will be done wrong. And it is a fact that our incumbent government has not been doing all well, and there's nothing much more you can expect from a team that has been in office for 20 plus years. Because the longer you remain in power is the more detached you become. So we are dealt a very tricky blow with an incumbency that is tired, stale, and ready to go. How do we use the things that they have done wrong to help us get them to go? Because all they need is a little nudge in the right direction and they'll be gone. But I get the feeling that some of us, and I put us because I'm part of the, I am one of the individuals within the system who believe that we should have a different direction of our country. I'm not even going to say that I'm part of the opposition, because the opposition is not a progressive term. Opposing, no. I believe I have an alternative view. Back in the day, we called the people with those views opposition. I do not think opposition connotes the right message. So I have an alternative view as to how things can be done. Yes, I support the government. I'll always support the government, because the government is the government of Dominica, not the Labour Party government. The Labour Party cannot own a government. They cannot be a government. They are a party and they serve in government. And yes, they could say, oh, my Labour Party government. They can say that because it's politics. They want to sound as if the party, which essentially is true, is serving in government. Yes. But to call the government of Dominica the Labour Party government is to demean what governance really is. And this party that has been controlling the power balance in Dominica has not done very well. I think they have done a lot of good things, but they have done some things that have not quite worked well and probably will never work for the people. Because Dominica is wealthy, very wealthy, but the wealth of the nation is not being spent on the people of the nation. It's been spent on some of the people and their cronies, and that is a problem. So we're going to look at using government maladministration as an impetus to unite around a progressive cause. And again, when I say that, I would prefer if individuals do not or would not suggest that I am here calling, begging, crying, asking for people to join me. No. I'd rather join people. Joining me for what? Who am I? I'm just one guy with some ideas. So my view has always been, let's find what is working, how we can connect, how we can contact, how we can merge our messages and find a way to rescue Dominica. And I've explained what I meant by rescuing Dominica. I have explained what I meant by that. Because one of the things that I do, I am limited to the things that I know. No one can know it all. And what I know well is what I do well, or what I try to do well on the programs that I appear here. And I often say that my message is one for the children tomorrow, the next generations of Dominica, not necessarily those of us who are living the life today. I want to make sure that after my time, my voice, my work, my ideas could be used as a benchmark for people who might not be as fortunate as I am to benefit or inherit a country which is so rich. I'm not too sure what kind of Dominica the Dominicans in the next 30, 40, 50 years are going to benefit. I know I got a wonderful country that my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother passed on to me and us. But the Dominica that we are hopefully going to pass on to the next 2, 3, 4 generations of Dominicans, I'm not too sure it's going to benefit them as much as the Dominica that I inherited benefited me. And again, we go back to not Dominica, the land, but the people and their maladministration of the affairs of the country and how the people are suffering from it. And when the people are aggrieved, the country bleeds, the land feels, the land hurt. When we don't protect and secure and manage the resources of our country, and the number one resource of a country happens to be its people, the country will struggle. And that is the kind of country that we are most likely going to pass on to the next generations if we do not change gears 10 years ago. So my call on this program is to use the maladministration, the practices, the poor practices of government to design a more progressive course that will be more meaningful for us in the future. So I have explained the topic. I believe I have done that successfully. And I now want to touch on some issues which I think, if handled differently, can give the alternative viewpoints momentum moving forward. I also, as I often do, would like to touch on a few current affairs, things that I believe need attention, need mention. One of those being Calypso, which started on the 9th of December. Whenever Calypso starts so early or so late, well, so early or so late in the year, it means that the carnival season is early. So Carnival is going to be in February. So we already are beginning with Calypso in December of 2023, December 9. So we had the Calypso eliminations on Saturday evening. This program is being done live on Sunday. So it is the morning, the day after the Calypso competition. And a number of Calypsonians have advanced to the quarter-final round of Calypso. The quarter-final is the second round of Calypso, the round where everybody who had made it to pass the to the semifinals are going to perform against 12 Calypsonians who have been picked from a great number of Calypsonians. I think last night we had 45 Calypsonians. So out of the 45 Calypsonians last evening, 12 would have been selected, and those 12 will meet with the 20 Calypsonians who performed in the semifinals last year to make it 32 altogether. And out of that 32, 20 will be selected to go to the semifinals. That 20 do not come back to sing at the elimination. Anytime you get past this quarterfinals, you don't revert to the preliminaries. So those people who were in the preliminaries either did not perform last year, like Webb et al., or they did not actually go to the semifinals, like my dear friend, my wonderful brother and colleague, the trendsetter. And I think he's setting new trends this year, incidentally, with a new look trendsetter, a married trendsetter who has refocused, rebalanced, recalibrated, and is doing an interesting track. I do not mean to promote him, but I cannot help but to, because he's just a wonderful brother. And of course, the other Calypsonians are my brothers and sisters, but trendsetter readily jumps to mind when I speak Calypso for many reasons. So the point I am making is that those 12 will meet the 20, and they will look for 20 places to go to the semifinals again. And out of those 20 places, 9 Calypsonians will be chosen to go to the finals to meet the defending monarch, King Trilogy, who is defending his monarchy after winning it last year. So I say congratulations to all the Calypsonians who performed, at least for giving us the first taste of Calypsos for 2024. And I really heard some wonderful Calypsos. The event was live, free. Well, nothing is really free. It was live, and we benefited from it. I'm not too sure whether that's a sign of things to come for the entire season to be accessible. I do not know what the Calypso Association is going to do, but it was good. I saw some good songs. I enjoyed the Calypso. And at the end of the eliminations, 12 Calypsonians were selected. And you see, trendsetter, his name was number 1. I do not know whether he placed number 1, but his name was first. So trendsetter, observer, Royet, Jamabi, the Web, my countryman, Sai, Mika, the Oracle, Danyan, Abia, Entertainer, Enlightener, and Liberator. These are the 12 Calypsonians who have advanced. And Mystery, The Mask, and Lady Ease are three people chosen on reserves. The reservists are normally kept in the vault of Calypso for the eventuality should the Calypsonians who had been qualified or who performed last year not compete in this year's Calypso competition, they would be elevated to the next round. So Mystery, who had a very mysterious song, well, not mysterious, it is open as broad daylight. And I think that song is going to be a lovely tent song. I see women enjoying it more than men. It is called Letters of the Alphabet. So she will have a good season, I think, in the tents. And I think she might be the first on reserves. I do not know. Mask also had a very bold song. I do not know the title, so I do not want to misquote him on his title, but it has to do with fork, F-O-R-K. And I think the song might be entitled, I do not know. When I'm sure, I will tell you the title. So all in all, we had a really good Calypso Elimination Show. I congratulate the Dominica Calypso Association and thank them for organizing Calypso. They have been doing so for quite a while now, since 1976 or 78. Before Dominica was independent and the association got going. And so we have been going for a while. And Calypso had been practicing in Dominica for a long time, since the 1960s, 62, thereabout. So the association has been doing great work, and I commend you. And I also commend the people who made it to the reserve. That is one. The other issue which I wanted to speak about was the alleged homicide / I guess murder, which took place in Dominica, that seemed to have made it on the international domain because of not just the nature of the crime, but the players. And I'm going to share a story which I think ABC did on the event. My producer is telling me that Mask Eruption, the title of Mask Eruption song is Number One Garden Forker. Number One Garden, F-O-R, Forker, F-O-R-K-E-R. That's the title of Mask song. And he used the implement on stage. He showed the garden fork, and he used it effectively, I think, but boy. So it's just an interesting song. He's on the reserve. We see what happens. He too should do well in the tent. Because Lemon Tigal Banzo Atetio, oh boy, they really go bad and loose on songs like that. My producer is keeping me busy. But it's okay. So I'm going to show you an ABC news release from the story of the murder, purported murder, alleged murder, homicide, double homicide, which took place in Dominica. And then I will show a little glimpse of a vigil which was held in Soufriere to commemorate the life and to pay tribute to the deceased. And I will have some analysis as to what I think of the incident, of the event, of the happening. An analysis which will be done within the bounds of my expertise, of my competencies. Because what I know is what I was taught. No. And what I decided to learn as an academic is my area of proficiency. So I cannot be seen speaking about things outside of my field, outside of my domain, of my area of expertise. And it seems as if that some of our messengers are experts on everything. I'm not. I don't even think I'm an expert. I'm an expert. I am an educator who happen to have dabbled a bit in certain areas, and I use those prerequisite skills to guide my discussions. And you could call me an academic, you could call me whatever you wish, it's fine. But I only speak about things that I can speak about with some level of certainty. Even if I show the story or not, I'm going to tell you what I think of the story, of the situation, of what is taking place with the murders or alleged homicide. Again, I'm using those terms interchangeably because I'm not a forensic expert. I'm not a law enforcer. I'm not a professional law enforcement officer. So I will not look at the technical nuances of the case, of the matter, of what I see. I will look at the broader picture because ABC News headline the story, Murder in Paradise. And it's a sad situation, especially for my friends in Soufriere and Scottsdale, because the deceased had become fixtures of the community. Or I should say communities. Because although the area is one community, there are different little groupings as part of the entire community. So they perished, and some people have been charged, a couple of people, for allegedly causing their death. I do not know how this is going to end, so I'm not going to say that anybody did anything. It is alleged that they did it, they have been charged, and the day will come in the court when they defend. I think the matter went to the court this last week, and they have been remanded in the prison until March, when the matter will begin against them. I hope the attorneys do what is necessary and that the prosecution does what is necessary. And at the end of the day, we have a solution to the problem. That's all I can say. But the bigger picture that I see is that more people today are viewing, clicking, researching, might be interested in learning something more about Dominica. Alas, it is because of a very egregious act. But we have a country to continue to run. And no matter what has befallen us, we have to find ways to navigate out of the issues, out of the calamitous eventuality of the double alleged murders, homicide. So I do not believe necessarily that as a country we will do worse than we were doing before because of the murders, homicides, alleged. I think we can do better recovering from the situation, because when hurricane hit us and ravaged Dominica is not good because we have been ravaged, but more people knew us. We got aid and support. So out of a little bad can come some good. We now should use the platform that Dominica has been placed on, unfortunately, by people who are not native Dominicans, or when I say native, I mean born Dominicans, people who move to live in paradise from different parts of the world, Canada and the United States. So we have two major first world countries involved in what happened in Dominica, and England too, you know. Because Canada is part of the Commonwealth, you know. So England, America, and Canada are watching what we are doing, and we need to put our best foot forward in terms of dispensing justice. So far, I cannot criticize law enforcement. I have been criticizing them left, right, and center. That's not my job to do. I believe it would be nice if the commissioner of police or deputy commissioner were to be running the PR for the matter. But who am I to say that? Again, I'm not an expert in that field. But when you have those high-profile murders or alleged murders, homicides, it must be handled from the highest of highest profiles. So a commissioner, a vice or deputy commissioner, a minister of defense or security would be, should be, probably could have been the voice that I heard on the ABC News. You don't shy away from speaking to the international press when those things happen. You go in damage control mode. Because this matter allegedly was not caused by Dominicans. And the fact that Dominica can be called paradise is something that can be used. No, I'm not saying that you make mileage from the death of people. No, I'm not saying that. I am speaking beyond just looking at it and saying, oh God, boy. Because let me tell you something, guys. High-profile murders have happened in other countries. In the best of the best countries in the world, we have had high-profile cases in Turks and Caicos, in Bahamas, in Jamaica, in Estonia, in England, America. We have had those things everywhere. That does not have to sink our country. We can build from it by the way in which we manage it and how we dispense, how we administer justice. So what the Minister of Defense or Security should do, probably on the ABC News that I heard, he should have said, we would like, sometimes probably in the future, to invite the FBI to assist us with solving the double murder or alleged murder, so homicide, because we don't have the forensic expertise to so do. So that is when you start building connections. Let America know we're interested. Because we should be, right? Because we're in the Americas. We're in the Americas, so why not have some FBI agents in Dominica, some crime scene experts to come to help to take care of the problem? They should be landed in Dominica tomorrow. They should have landed there last week. Give them the case. At least the responsibility of securing this evidence so that you have the right person. So that is what a Minister of Defense or Security or Prime Minister could have done, or leader of the opposition, because the leader of the opposition is part of government too. I am not too sure what has been said by the leader's office. But if I were managing the affairs of the leader of the opposition, oh my word, because that's the next person in line to be Prime Minister of Dominica. So when the Prime Minister failed to act, as has been the case so often, the leader of the opposition should be naturally the one acting, because you are the second highest elected political official. You are the shadow Prime Minister. So your statement should have been one appealing to outside forces. Probably the leader of the opposition did that, and I do not know. That is what we should do, and you capitalize on the moment that had been created, because the ABC News report says murder in paradise. In fact, if I have time, I will do something about that topic. I should not say that, some calypso might run, go and do a thing quick and do it haphazardly. Probably, if the inspiration hits me, something will happen. So we are not rejoicing about it, but we have our country to fix. And out of that bad can come some good, because I know Dominicans today who have researched Dominica, they didn't know about Grand Colibri. They didn't understand the kind of level of work that had been done and the quality of establishment that had been set up by the deceased. And other people now are researching. I know a Dominican girl who works with somebody related to one of the accused. And that person is not a Dominican, has never been to Dominica, but now knows more about Dominica than you and I. So the opportunity, the moment creates opportunity that we can use to fix our country. So Dominica is known as a destination where crime happen, international profile crime happen, because the deceased man, it was nothing, it was a high profile guy, it wasn't an easy guy, based on now what I'm understanding about him. I mean, and the fact that he could choose Dominica to live for the past 20 years and die, unfortunately, tells a lot about our beautiful country. So those people who are there saying la 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 la, seemingly trying to find some sensationalism around the issue, I say it's a matter of choice. Is that what you choose to do? Fine, but I look beyond that. I understand the seriousness of the moment, but I also say, look, let's handle it differently. So I see the PRO of the police. He sounded okay on ABC. Is ABC or ABS? One of them. I think I have the news. I'm going to show it so you guys will see it. But I would have really liked to see my handsome prime minister, or the minister of security of defense, or the commissioner of police speaking. You show the best of your. I'm not saying that the PRO is not good, but the level, the profile, the nature of the alleged crime. Sometimes you have to think, guys, strategy is key. Oh, yes, I'm a strategist. So I always speak from a strategic lens. Put big, high-profile people out there too. Or probably there's a political reasons why the prime minister may not speak. I don't know. But find a way to say it. Probably not the prime minister. Let's say the minister of defense. Certainly the commissioner of police, or the deputy commissioner, or some superintendent. It would look better on us. I was speaking to my dear friend. Well, I don't want to preempt him because I'm going to have Carlos on with me, or I'm going to be on with Carlos later. And Carlos may have something or two to say about that. But Carlos is a very insightful guy. He showed me a few things that I had not thought about. But again, as I said, my job is not to go and look for the in windows and to go and play forensic experts. I'm not a forensic expert. I'm not a preacher of doom and gloom. I am someone who tries to find ways for us to work together. And with that said, I must give Loftus Duran, enough props. The most consistent messenger in Dominica, most consistent. Well, between he and I, he has a niche, and he messages to the niche. I do not have a niche. I have a nation and a world. And I do the same. But Lofty has been steady. Lofty has been on message. Lofty has his own style. And that is the strength that Lofty comes with as a messenger. My style is different from Lofty, so I compliment him, he compliments me. Black Pepper doing his thing as well. He has not been at it the way that we have been, but Black Pepper has been steady enough. Palisot, my partner, Viva Mamu, I was told is a guy, although I still feel it's a girl, but I'm going with whatever people say. So there are a few people. Alex Lixie Warrington, who does some crazy messaging sometimes, is also playing her role. I can call a number of different messengers I've seen doing their stuff. Marlon Girodel is a hit and run messenger. Marlon is a tactical guy. He hits and he runs. He drops, he delivers, and he goes. Somewhat of a trickster, you'd call this in African culture. So I see messengers. I hear Afi continues to be the rock of Gibraltar. Lennox, continues to be consistent. So I see what the messengers are doing. But where's the message going? That is my topic, which I don't have to spend much time on. Maybe 10 minutes and we're done. Because it is okay to cry foul, to say foul, and you blow the whistle. Then the ball stops rolling. What's going to happen when the ball stops rolling? You have to reset the play. Who's going to take the shot? Anybody then? Because somebody is your friend and they're in your party, you go and tell them one kick. If we're all on the field and we all trying to progress to the goal of the government, that's our goal, to get into government, to deplace those people that in government over there. The government kicking against us, we kicking against the government. All of us, we are the team Dominica, team unity, or whatever team you want to call us, but we fighting to get in their goal. We calling foul, we getting the ball. We placing the ball, and we have fellas kicking the ball over the goal. Wide. Fellas miss kicking. Fellas kicking the turf instead of the goal, of the ball. So that is where I come in. That is what I've been saying all along, and I've been telling some in the business, guys, let us find the best kicker, the best thrower, the best passer, the best playmaker. You will play on the offensive, I'll play on the defense, you'll play in the middle. We distribute the ball. We stretch the government, we tire them out, and then we take a shot to the goal. But no, everybody wants to play playmaker. In the game of soccer, football that I'm speaking about, there is only one playmaker, based on my knowledge. I do not know about what happens now because I'm not playing football, soccer anymore. But when I used to play soccer at Premier Division for ACS Zebians, I was a striker. I played from the bench. I came in the second half for the last 3-4 minutes. That's where I played. That was my strength. I was quick. I was strong. I was ferocious. I was brave. I would just run over fellas. Because while fellas play the whole game, I come in for the last 2-3 minutes. Fellas tired. That's where Rico used to hold fellas. Just throw the ball for me. Hit it because I can run. And I causing a lot of problem and giving Ronnie opportunities to score. And Ronnie would just decalculate them when he get back the ball while I make a dummy run. Who was making the play? Well, George Dangler, who used to play defense as well, was our playmaker too, you know. Georgie, there's no other person who could distribute a ball better than George Dangler. So the go-to person when you get the ball is Georgie. And the same was true for Harlem and Rocks. Even for Dominica too. Salka Emmanuel was the playmaker. I do not know about the young players now who play now. I wouldn't know their names because I'm not as current in terms of following the sport. But I know enough to know that you have one playmaker. In politics, you can have 50 playmakers. One. The Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica and his team has one playmaker. There are other people who implement the play that the playmaker calls, but one person calls it. And that is what is lacking in the alternative movement in Dominica, where all of us play and we're playing well, because guys, I have no issues with my brother Lennox. He's a fantastic player. But people must distribute the ball to him. You cannot expect to be striking and rushing back to the defense and rushing back to score. You have to stay where Ronnie used to stay, on the line with the defense, waiting for a pass. And sometimes George giving Ronnie a pass from the right back, right on Ronnie head or his chest. And Ronnie just controlling that, dropping in front of him, running, kick, bam, goal. So some of the people who are playing get tired because the ball's not reaching them, the play not reaching them. And until and unless we find the right strategy to involve all the players in the game of politics in Dominica, because politics is a game played by rules. Right now, the government, the majority controls this opportunity to set the rules. So they have now threatened to and will change the way in which elections are done in Dominica, which is essentially changing the constitution, if you ask me to, because when that thing drops next year, is almost game over until the people say no. Because the reform that they are doing is for them to continue their legacy. But I will have more to say about that in the new year. I have an article coming out on that I'll publish, because the world must know what I see and understand about that reform that we are going to get. Some of us laughing, believe that's going to happen. No, man. Yes, reform will happen, but boy. So my issue is, those of us who want to score against the government must learn to play together. You don't have to rebrand your team and change your people. No. If you're playing, we all playing. Know your strength, know my strength, know your weakness, know where you are. Organize the play, put a playmaker, put people there waiting for the ball. They used to call that feeding in my day, because sometimes you used to be caught outside because the defense use a trap to catch you outside too. So you, the forward player who not running too much, have to know that the defense, they're going to try to play you out as well. And if you go on behind the defense line, when you get the ball, you're outside. So it's a strategy, man. Politics is a game that you have to know how to play it. And when to change your play, when to call for the ball, when to make a dummy run, when to lob the pass, when to play the pass down flat, when to fake, when not to. You can't play the game of politics without a fake. You just want to be so brutally honest about everything. It's not going to work. You have to bluff. You have to do things, man, to open up the game, because you could make a move towards the run. You could make a run on the left flank. The defense is not going to watch you run alone, and they're going to run with you. But when one man go with you on the left, there's one man less to back up the right flank. And when the game change and the ball go to the other side, you already have a man committed left. That man have to ricochet right. By the time that man ricochet, a back pass and a kick to the goal, you score. I do not know what analogy to give again. I can give a cricket analogy, but I'll do that probably next Sunday, because I think I've said enough. Let us look at the video that I spoke about, just to satisfy your curiosity, the level of the news. And I have looked at that video, I've understood it, I've analyzed it, and there are more networks that have carried the news. But this one in particular, I see great value and potential in it. I am saddened at the passing of the individual, but we have a country to fix. So look at the video and think of the things I said while I was explaining it. Let's check the video.
2 Americans facing murder charges on a Caribbean island. Suspects include a chocolate maker and one of the victims, a man with Hollywood connections. ABC's Rena Roy joins us with the latest. Rena, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. These alleged murders happened in Paradise, and it was reportedly over a years-long feud between the chocolate mogul and that victim with ties to Hollywood. This morning, a murder investigation unfolding on the picturesque Caribbean island of Dominica. 2 American men, including chocolatier Jonathan Lehrer, behind bars in the deaths of wealthy Canadian businessman Daniel Langlois and his partner Dominique Marchand. Their bodies discovered in a burnt car last week, not far from the resort that they owned.
At the conclusion of the investigations, 2 individuals were charged for the murder. Investigations are still ongoing as we speak.
Local media citing court documents saying the killings may be connected to a years-long dispute between Lehrer and Langlois over a public road running through their adjacent properties. Police have not confirmed that or released a motive. The 2 victims had lived on the island for more than 20 years and ran a luxury eco-resort once listed as a hot list destination for travelers. According to Lehrer's website, the estate he owns, which is right next to the now deceased couple's property, is one of the oldest in Dominica, producing cocoa and coffee beans, even running public tours. The suspect's defense attorney telling ABC in a statement, "We live in a democracy where anyone charged with a crime is innocent until proven guilty." The Daniel Langlois Foundation announcing his death, saying he was also the founder of Soft Image, the company's technology helping create the 3D effects in Hollywood blockbuster films like Jurassic Park, Titanic, and The Matrix. On Thursday, hundreds attending this sunset vigil in memory of the victims.
They were just the sweetest, most gentle couple, and for us to lose this ray of sunshine, it's devastating.
And police in Dominica say this crime is still under investigation. A third person was also arrested for the murders, but not charged. The suspects remain in prison and they're due back in court in March of next year. Gio.
That is an unbelievable story, Rena. Thank you so much. All right, to Bronny James.
So, guys, it is there, you know. The story is now making the rounds, and it's not just ABC who had that story. I mean, all the major networks in America had that story. You're talking about 300 million people, and the possibilities of more people over the world. You're talking about billions of people who have seen that story and who are now looking at that country called Dominica. They're going to say Dominican Republic and all kind of thing, and then they're going to get the right to Dominica. Murder in Paradise. Movie, song, the works. Book. Again, not to benefit on the incident, but to help package and show the best and the goodness of our people. To defend our country, to protect White Okubuli. So when the PRO of the police speak, it was okay. They said no issue with that. But you know what would have looked good there, boy? The commissioner, the chief. Just because of the profile. And again, I'm speaking from the point of view of, I guess, maybe sometimes I'm too strategic about the things that I think about, but it is just me, sorry. So all in all, I wish the law enforcement well. I hope that they seek for the expertise that they would like to have to help them solve the matter. I hope that the right people have been arrested and charged, and that if that's the case, and they found guilty, that they will pay the crime. They will pay the penalty. And if they are not guilty, when they are free, they should be allowed to roam free. I'm not saying anything negative about anybody until the law decides. And if the law decides, so be it. But if the law doesn't, and they are deemed not guilty, I'll meet and greet and say hi to them. And do whatever it is that I have to do with them as normal citizens. And that is pretty much the program. You know, I dealt with us trying to find ways to work against the government maladministration, using that as an impetus for us to do well. And the analogy that I made using football, or some people call soccer, was the analogy that I wanted to make. That the government is playing in the game called politics. The governance is not a game, but to get into government is a game that is played by people who know how to play the game. You can't just get into government because you want to. Even if you are the best candidate, have the most money, that's not how you get into government. It's a game. So if you want to play the game, you have to get people like a coach, physiotherapist, psychologist, strategist, and different people who will be involved at different times. Now, you also need a good selector or a team of selectors to select a good team too. Because we are all Dominicans. You don't just select from one group, you select from all groups. And you say, boy, we should go Cardiff and get that man, or we should go Penville. And you put a team together, you organize a play, you strategize the play, you call the play, you run the play. So all the mistakes that the other side is making, you hold them. You say, they make a mistake there. So we're going to put the ball on the weak side. We're going to make a move around them. We're going to give that man over there the ball, and we're going to score. But no matter what bad play government makes, it's the same damn defense you have. How are you going to beat the government? Government make a play. Wee, foul. You get the foul. Whistles blow. Ball stop. What you going to do next? A little lob back to the goalkeeper. They're going to score. They're going to bury that. So I think those of us who believe that we should have a different government in Dominica, and I agree we should, we need to come to the realization that certain things are best done by people who can do them best. Because you cannot be an expert on all things. Nor can I. But we can work it out where I do what I do well, you do what you do well, we score, we win, Dominica is better for it. Full stop. That's my program until next week, Sunday, guys. Thank you for being here, for participating, and for hopefully sharing the content or interacting with me. There are people who don't quite understand my intentions. There are people who sadly are of the misguided illusion that I am interested in becoming Prime Minister of Dominica. I don't know where to get that. People who I thought were my friends, people who I wined and dined with, who I told deep secrets, do not understand that Alex Bruno, their former friend, is not interested in that aspect of the politics. And have gone to have even unfriended me because they think I'm against their party. Oh, Lord, man. Well, not many people know, one or two. But that's a matter for them. My job is to do what I have to do, and what goes wrong comes around tomorrow. You okay where someone can fair, someone can fair, and you okay, the boy, I never understood. Now I understand. And I'll say, no problem, man. That's who I am. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Join Carlos. I'm going to be on with him on the Team Unity Dominica program. I'm not sure who else Carlos has on. I warned him already, tell him get people on, other people on. But one day I'll pull a strike on him. Although I like being on with Carlos. Yeah, but I'm not sure who else he has. But that's going to be an interesting program. So join us for that in the next 5 minutes. Take care, guys. I'll see you next week Sunday for another roundtable discussion. No, the hour. The roundtable comes up next with Carlos at 3.